Good morning. I'm Janine Brown Miller, president of JBM HR Consulting and HRWebSource.com.
And I'm Lori Miller of Developing Professionals, your training development SME, that's subject matter expert. Welcome to HR Tuesday Tips with the Millers, where we focus on a key issue that's going to help you with all your people needs. So last week we talked about employee handbooks, and we're going to continue on that journey. We're going to be talking about the pitfalls today. So take it over, JBM.
Okay, we're going to get right into some common mistakes, but I just kind of want to remind you, for those of you that were here last week, the policies that I wanted you to focus on was social media, making sure that you write them so that you have the person that's your voice for your company. That's really clear. And then you ask your employees that are commenting on your company on social media to be sure they have a disclaimer that states that it's their personal opinion. The other is harassment. Make sure you are clear about what constitutes harassment. Make sure you're very clear on the go-to person if they have a complaint. And again, I reminded you last week, if you could have a third-party investigator, that is best practices. I know I do that for my clients. And then disciplinary action policies. While we want them tight and clear, we also want some room for subjectivity depending on the level of offense. So that's just something I wanted to remind you. But anyway, moving on. So some common pitfalls. First of all, it's not offering training to the supervisors. So often I go into an organization and the supervisors are saying, I haven't even looked at the handbook. I don't know what to do with the handbook. Well, clearly, everybody needs to understand that, especially your supervisors. For those business owners out there, that's a particularly important thing to focus on because you definitely need to understand the content that's written in these. So often people will download a handbook, print it, and have no idea what any of it means. So please recognize that if you have a handbook, you need an HR expert to train you or just one-to-one consulting on how to actually implement the contents of the handbook. Seek multiple sets of eyes. And I say that because we want it user-friendly. I see a lot of handbooks that are very, like say, legalese kind of writing. You don't want that. You want your average person to be able to read it and clearly understand it. So don't hesitate to get opinions on how well it's written or how clear it's written. And then absolutely get legal review. You have to have an attorney look at it. It becomes a binding document. So anything you have in writing, any of your policies become binding. So please don't be penny wise, pound foolish, and not seek out that type of assistance as well. So about training.
Training is a critical part, especially with your management team. We promote people within the organization, and now they're responsible for leading, managing, developing, and inspiring their team members. And a critical area is holding them accountable. So part of your new management training, and if you don't offer it, you should start to begin to offering it. And a critical part of that is making sure that they understand the employee handbook, all the policies and procedures, rewards and consequences management, what's in place within your organization, and making sure you're training your managers on how to hold employees accountable. There's a whole process that you need to make sure that you're transferring as far as their knowledge base, and also too, what are the procedures that you have within your organization, so if they have to address an issue, they know how to do it effectively and efficiently. So I cannot say enough about that training. And also, as we update our policies and procedures, we have to make sure we have a communications channel out in place, that we're actually making sure we're sending it out to all employees, we're documenting that they received it, and making sure that we're also following up, making sure we're reviewing that at our next team meeting. So critical things that we need to do with training and development.
Okay, great. So that's it for now.
Yep. I'm Lori Miller, your training and development SME, your subject matter expert, and hopefully stay tuned next week when we're actually going to finish with this HR compliance employee handbook, linking it into the job description.
Okay, and I'm Janine Brown Miller, your HR go-to person. Thanks for joining us.
Relax, we got this.